welcome to episode 10 of the Full-Time Banter Show. This is part 1, the Fantasy League section. My name is Tarek.
I'm Liam. I'm Riz.
Yes, and please, before we carry on, make sure you like, share and subscribe. Yeah, make sure you do the share bit as well if you've already subscribed, because people aren't sharing enough. Sharing is caring.
Share the love.
Get on the Twitter at FullTimeBanter7. Follow us on there. If you really want Fantasy League tips, you'll get a lot on there, but we're adding some other stuff on there as well, a bit of humour as well, a bit of film chat. We're up to 51, 52 followers.
Fantastic. Great. Slowly but surely getting there.
Yeah. I mean, people got thousands, but hey, it's good.
Let's go for the milestone 100.
And we got a shout out yesterday on Fantasy Football Scout,
Nice.
who are kind of the big boys in the fantasy football business.
Appreciate it.
Yeah. So shout out to Fantasy Football Scout Joe in particular, who offered me the wedding proposal. Yeah, so Joe, let's go. Yeah. Anyway, let's start. Fantasy League, an unexpected one, because I thought we were going to have 2 weeks of film videos. Obviously, I misinterpreted it, but it's good news because it means we've got Premier League and Fantasy League coming in 2 days' time.
We've got more football, can't we?
Oh yes. So we will have a film section after this, but right now we're going to crack on and start talking about wildcards and show you some of our potential wildcard teams, because a couple of people have been asking me personally, they want a wildcard, but they're still not sure of who to get in, which players. So I know Riz, me and you are not intending to wildcard.
No, definitely not.
But we've put together 2 wildcard teams for your benefit to see the kind of players we're looking at if we were to. But Liam, you are contemplating.
I am. In the words of the Sugar Babes, I'm thinking I might push the button.
Okay, right.
Yeah.
What, the self-destruct one?
Sorry,
I was racking my brains then for a Sugar Babes reference. That is the only one.
Mate, I've seen the Sugar Babes in concert.
Have you?
That's a tale for another occasion.
Yeah,
contemplating it. I think the pressure of doing this show, being sat in 30th,
He's starting to
31st,
crack.
I'm going, I kind of want to make some strides. So
this is what
it.
I've been doing all week, because I've had no tinkering and no fiddling to do, and there's not been any Fantasy League stuff to do. The things that have been going through my mind is, I've had a good 4 weeks. Now it's all going to go Pete Tong.
You're going to have a mental breakdown somewhere along the way.
I'm going to start tumbling down that table, like many people probably like to see me do. But anyway, we digress. Let's get on with this.
Let's go.
I think me and Riz should start, because hopefully it might help you with some decisions you're looking at. But I mean, you've got kind of good picks there. Anyway, Riz, do you want to start us off with players you might bring in if you were to wildcard?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I'll start with defence. The only one from last week, carrying on from saying Hollebass is a good shout. So if I was to go wildcard, go in with him at 4.8 million is a decent shout. And I think at the moment he gives stability with the options I've got at the back, so I can even go with 5 at the back. I took a Spelaquetra out with 6.5, so to come down 4.8 gives him money elsewhere, and it makes sense with what he's doing at Watford. Then I've gone for his fellow teammate Pereira at Watford as well, purely because of how he started the season. It's one of them, while he's in hot form, try and maybe gamble on it and take that little bit of a hit somewhere else along the line and take out a player who might be higher value. Again, reduces the chances of possibly not getting any points for higher value players. I've got rid of Madison. I did, kind of beat my drums up about him and saying how good he is, but at the moment, although Leicester are going to have favourable fixtures, I just think Neves might do something at 5.2 as well. And again, that's another 1.3 million saving. So that's going there. And keeping with the Leicester theme, I've got rid of Madison, but I bought his teammate in Rishi Gazelle.
Scored?
He scored as well.
Did he score? Against Liverpool.
He scored. He seems to be doing okay. There or thereabouts players, so I can get away with having a premium attacker, which I know we discussed and is at the end of it and this, that, the other.
So who did you have previously instead of Aguero?
I had Jimenez and I had Zaha and Arthurwich. Got rid of Arthurwich and I got rid of Jimenez at Wolves. So I thought, what, given what's been said lately about Aguero, this, that, the other, I would go with him for now, purely because his next few fixtures, I believe, are going to be like the likes of Huddersfield, Cardiff, Not Huddersfield, he's already played Huddersfield. He's going to be Cardiff, he's got him there, and I think Brighton as well coming up. Fulham, is the next fixture that they got this weekend.
Fulham, City, yeah. Fulham.
Yeah, so, it's intriguing, but my only concern with that one would be if I was to bank on it, it may well rotate the team given the Champions League, but he's in there, and Mitrovic, goes without saying, his value, and he's doing well, his stock is on the rise, so might as well capitalise on it if I was to press that wildcard button. So, pretty much standard changes, more changes in regards with the attacking sense.
Yeah.
But it's going to be similar for most people, but the sensible choice is go with what's the norm at the moment.
I'm going to add a caveat to that, and this is hopefully useful to a lot of people, particularly to you, Liam, because I'm going to put my team up alongside yours on screen now to have a look at, and hopefully viewers will notice two things. One is the teams are virtually similar. Yeah. Mendy, Robertson, Alonso, Wan-Bissaka.
So we basically got them.
Essentially the same defence, yeah. Not far off midfield, so 3 out of 5 in the midfield and 2 out of 3 in the forwards, yeah. And my point being on that is my team in particular has ended up being very close to what they call the template team, as in the highest scoring players. Which is purely by accident. I'm not gloating or bragging about it, but I happen to have picked those. Players from the start who've ended up performing, and now this is the kind of model, as exemplified by the transfers you're talking about making.
Yeah,
people want to get in. So I'm not going to say I've been lucky. I've done very, very well.
It's one of them, because I remember when we did the close season team we were preparing, mine and your team was basically identical, and then in the end I thought, you know what, just So I mean, the teams we're showing you now are pretty much the template teams, right? The reason why I'm telling you that is because what everyone who's on a wildcard is going to do now is try and get these players in because they have performed in the past 4 weeks. And that's the gamble.
That's the dangerous strategy, because there's been a 2-week break in between. There's nothing to say that some of these players are going to hit the brakes. So like Mane, for example, has been overperforming. Alonso has been way overperforming. You could argue Holibas and Pereira have, but if you look at last season's Watford stats,
they were there.
They deserve to be where they are.
Absolutely, in regards with that.
So that's the point I'm trying to make. Is sorry, Riz, I keep cutting you off. Is don't just look at the 4 weeks that has gone prior and get all of those players in, because the next point I'm going to make is hopefully the second thing you'll notice is there's only 4 players I'll bring in on a wild card because the rest of my squad is decent.
I've got 6, but how many of them are going to start? That's another thing as well.
So that aside, that's the reason I'm not wildcarding, because those 4 players I can bring in over the next 2-3 weeks easily. Holibas can easily come in for Tarkovsky. McCarthy's a straight swap for Fabianski or whoever. Yes, I had Fabianski. Hazard for Mane, and Wilson has saved me money off Zaha. But like I said, I did this exercise for the benefit of the people watching. In truth, the only ones I'm genuinely going to go with is the goalkeeper. I might do that, and that is it. Because yes, Holibas is performing, he's doing well, but Burnley's fixtures are reasonable. And now that they're out of Europe, they could turn it around and start going on Burnley with you. So I could stick with Tarkovsky, and I think we might actually do all right in the next game coming up.
We'll see what happens. I mean, in regards to, like I said, it is going to be tricky now to find a differentiator. So hopefully, Liam, I'm sure that somewhere along the line.
Some different. Well, this is it. This is what he's got. We're going to talk about some differentials I've got noted down. So I mean, Liam, I'll hand it over to you. Done enough talking. The only one thing, I was going to mention is I've got Hazard in just to show the example that I could get him in if I wanted. One of the most expensive midfielders. But if I brought him in for next week for Cardiff or whatever, he's there essentially with me keeping an eye on the likes of Kevin De Bruyne when he comes back, or somebody like that. Maybe David Silva.
It's good shot, especially with De Bruyne's price going down as well.
Exactly. So looking at other players, other Son's back, so things like that. So this is why I'm not wildcarding. But if I was, I'd be looking to games coming up ahead and fixtures, not what's gone in the past. Over to you, Liam.
Going off the thanks boys, food for thought out there. Yeah, going off the games coming up, I would actually make one change to what my potential wildcard would be.
Yeah.
I've got Tompkins in, but I took him out for Hollybass. I would take out my dear Cedric, who performed in the last game week quite well. I would swap him out for Hollybass instead because Palace's fixtures coming up. Look, they've got a run of about 5 or 6 games.
Yeah.
How much
Where-
have you got in the bank?
0.3, I think.
0.3 in the bank, yeah.
That's why you probably have to find a 0.1 somewhere else as well.
Yeah.
Because looking at
Well, Mane would be the one. I only got him, and it's a bit like yourself going, oh, I could get Mane in if I wanted, so I just put him in there to
no,
go.
that's fine. I was just trying to
Yeah.
give you
No,
It's like my games.
something to think about.
What's going on here?
The interesting one, you got Richarlison there, what's going on there?
Well, I thought he's only got one game left to serve. I think he comes back against. Is it Arsenal? He comes back against.
No idea, I've not looked at
I think Everton. I think he comes back when they play Arsenal.
Yes,
I think
actually,
he
yes,
does,
I read
yeah, I
that,
think he
yes.
does, yeah.
But
Yeah,
in the
potentially.
international break, he just scored 2 goals for Brazil.
Yeah, first cap.
First,
for
yeah,
as
on his
well, yeah.
debut. And as well, I'm just back on the Mane thing. Ericsson scored twice for Denmark the other night. So, is that the start of Ericsson finding some
He is
form this
being
season?
tipped because his stats say he should be up there, but he's not quite yet, is he?
Yeah.
I think with Eriksen at the moment as well, the whole Tottenham team hasn't been firing. So I think once, even with the likes of Kane as well, we talk about certain things. Till Spurs start taking over, then we'll see the best of Eriksen. Because now with Son coming back, I think they play better with Son in the team than without energy level. So hopefully you might see a change.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. So I think the only major change that I would make is probably Arnautovic is going to drop out. So what I would probably do is bring Ings in, keep
Right.
Zaha for the minute, but then that'd free up funds to bring Robertson in
Yeah.
at the back in defence just to show
Fair
that,
play.
because we've been talking about the rise of full-backs this season, and my defence has been really lacking in terms of scoring full-backs, but saving 1.4 million there, easily enough to bring Robertson in. I think for Daniels, I think it is in mind, or maybe
Right.
somebody. I might have to make one other change.
Again, because that obviously picked up, and hopefully people will have noticed that and gone, what? He's got Richarlison, blah blah blah. Richarlison's not
Well,
playing.
he's back down to 6.6.
Yeah.
So
6.6, and
I mean, could I wait another week if he drops down to 6.5? You know, if more people get rid of him, but will people start to bring him back in his price
Exactly.
again?
Exactly.
So I'm beating the
So
curve
it's
a bit.
it's a shrewd move. If you're going to wildcard, you plan ahead. That's exactly the point we're making. Look at what's gone past, but plan ahead. Richarlison looks like he's just going to pick up where he's left off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he will be coming for Bernardo Silva in mine.
Yeah.
So again, saving 1.9 million.
Yeah.
And going back to my team again, I was saying I brought Hazard in to show the example, and also if it was to happen there, the next fixture's Cardiff, everyone's tipping Hazard as a fantastic captain choice, which we'll talk about at the end. But I've already got Alonso and Pedro, so for me, if I were to do it, it would either be Hazard and Alonso and Pedro changes to Richarlison, or I keep Pedro and Alonso and Hazard goes to somebody else. So I'm not keen. I'm still not sold on Hazard. I know he's looking good, he's looking lively, but he's playing a different role this season.
I mean, it's interesting to see what's out there at the moment. I mean, like you said, you've got a list of potential players there. So I think we could move on.
Yeah, we'll
discuss
move on to
you know,
that.
looking at the fixture list and also who's been touted maybe as potential.
Before we do, I was going to mention one last thing, because everyone, if you're on Twitter or wherever, everyone's going to be banging on about bringing Hazard in, this and that and everything, and he's playing Cardiff. It's the same thing that happened with City playing Newcastle. It didn't materialise. Hazard is not shooting as often this year compared to his previous year's stats. He's looking to pass and lay off and set up and assist rather than go on himself and take the shots. So the only thing in his favour is he's got penalties. So that's why I'm personally not sold on Hazard, and that's why I've not got him in already. Man, he's doing the business. But yeah, sorry, Riz, carry on.
No,
Yeah.
that's fine. Yeah.
So
No, I was just saying, you know, having a look at what else is out there. Because,
yeah, upcoming news. A couple of things I forgot to put in this. I keep interrupting you, Riz. Sorry.
Go for it. Don't worry about it.
A couple of things I forgot to put in the notes. Just going off the back of the international. I mean, we didn't watch it. Did anyone watch any international?
I was out both nights.
The only game I watched I was disappointed with was the France-Germany game, and then I watched France versus Holland, and even that.
Yeah, rubbish anyway. But
They do scored, but the good thing is Mendy, if you got him on a sixpence for Giroud,
Yeah.
he is just absolutely
Yeah.
terrible. So
That's the good thing of looking at it from an FPL perspective is, I don't know about other teams, but Liverpool's players all came back unscathed. Fabinho was rested, I think.
he played first game, but then he was rested.
Rested in the second one. I think Alisson was rested as well.
Yeah.
So they were rested. Robertson got his cap. He's going to come back full of confidence. Aguero and Jesus did not play, did they? So
No.
they are fresh as well.
Yeah.
So Aguero and Jesus are both fresh. So those are things to look at on an international break. And that's why, again, you don't make transfers early, silly people. You wait until you find out who's back and who's injured and who's not.
See what happens.
But yes, carry on, Riz. Sorry, I'll let you take over.
Yeah, no, that's fine. I was just saying, like you said, looking at different players and the options that are available to us at the moment. One of the things I mentioned earlier in my piece with my wildcard team was the Leicester fixtures, they're looking tasty. And in terms of when I said with Aguero, I've got him in there as possible, option moving forward. But with him, with the Champions League coming in, he's going to rotate him and Jesus.
Yes.
My option up front would possibly then be Vardy,
Vardy,
because
definitely.
at the price that he's there,
Yeah.
the fixtures that Leicester have got, it makes sense. And also Vardy's proven in the Premier League, we know what he can do.
And he's back in it, he's back in the rhythm now,
He's
isn't
getting
he?
back
And
into the groove as well, yeah.
at 8.9, very affordable.
It's not a bad shout. From a defensive point of view, if it wasn't Olivas, I'd probably go for his teammate, Chilwell.
Chilwell, yeah.
Fantastic, absolutely fantastic. He is, without doubt, probably complementing Maguire really well, and him and Maguire are having a good partnership at the moment. But I can see him leaving for a bigger club, either at the end of this season or some point midway through
I know,
next
I've
season.
said to you before, I'm a big fan of him, and I remember saying to somebody in the Leicester game, after the Leicester game, saying I could see Liverpool, us going for him, because he's fantastic. Subsequently, over this international break, we've been doing a lot of reading and stuff, and I actually read that Klopp wanted him and went after him before we got Robertson. Before we got Robertson.
You got Robertson, okay.
We
That's
offered-
interesting.
We offered something silly like 4+3, which got turned down. Yeah. So, but Klopp loves him and already knows about him, and apparently he was on loan at Huddersfield, so you got to know him via David Wagner. So I mean, I feel I still feel good because I kind of spotted him and think and Klopp's already a step ahead.
Let's see.
You know,
Anyway,
Well,
we're
back
talking.
to Anfield, haven't you and Klopp?
That's the thing, innit? We're talking at the back. I mean, the new signing Pereira. He's another one who I'm really liking at the moment.
5.1. He's the right back, isn't he now?
He's right back now. Price has gone up slightly, but you know what? Deservedly, he's done really well at the moment. And the other one I know I've taken him out if I was to do a wildcard thing, but I've still got him in my actual squad, Maddison.
See, this is what I wrote down, Maddison. No, I'm not sold on Maddison, because I keep saying this every week.
He will.
I think he's overperforming. He is not doing enough on the pitch.
Well, two things in his defence, and I don't normally say this about many players, but two things in his defence. One, he's stepping up from Championship up to Premier League.
Fair enough.
The first 4 games that he has been impressive in terms of what he does with the ball and moves it about. He reminds me of Ji-sung Park in the sense of his industry, United, like he was.
I was going to say the same thing. I was going to say Gini Wijnaldum does it for Liverpool,
This is
but
the
you
thing,
don't want him
but
in the Fantasy League team.
No, but at that price though, what he does though, he's not just he does the things quietly. He picks up certain things. You watch a player sometimes in midfield, and you think they've had a quiet game, but then when you actually go down to the root analysis of that player, and you think how many passes, how many deceptions, how many chances created, how many balls cut the defence open.
It's still not
He's
up
one
there.
of them.
No,
It's early days for him.
Check this.
I've got a case for him.
He's 6'6",
Yeah.
and I've got Pedro at
6'7".
well, 6'8" is his value is. That's the screen you see there is the selling value. So 6'8", and points per million. Pedro's outdoing Hazard, and
he is.
can have.
But then again, in that regard, you've got to look at the options away from, like you said before, in terms of having too many Chelsea players doubling up on them if they come out. You've still got the option of Richarlison. You've then got the option of Maddison there. I'm looking at it from a point of view where a player can create something different and be a difference between the others. So for that reason, I would probably stick with him. I think he's a decent shout at the moment.
Liam, tell us about Spurs.
Yeah, Son's on the way back.
Is he? Right, yes, he's come back. He's
Come
overjoyed.
back.
He's not going to military camp.
Yes.
No,
Did you see that, Megs? That was somewhere else.
I was
wasn't
glad I
it?
put that
Against
I've
video.
never
Chile.
seen that.
I put that video up.
Against-
International against
It's-
Chile.
Yeah, it's been going around on the Twitter.
The dude made a racist comment, which well, not a racist comment, but he did a racist action with his hands involving his eyes. But yeah, we'll leave it at that.
Son Megs him like.
Son
nobody's
just
business.
sent him back to his mum crying.
It was like a Megs with a pre-trick
Yeah.
him thrown in as
That's
well.
brilliant. There's no better way to shut up people like that, isn't
Yeah.
there?
We'll put it up if I'll find it again. I'll put it up.
Link
But yeah,
will be
sorry.
below, hopefully.
Son is back.
Yeah, so just a quick one on that. A UFC fighter actually had to take 2 years out of his career.
Too soon.
Oh, the Korean zombie,
Wow.
Dong Hyun Kim, I think it was, had to take 2 years out mid-career and do 2 years service, and then he came back.
And he's still carried on.
Yeah,
well.
whereas some
Okay.
got let off. It's one rule for one, one rule for another.
No,
Yeah,
as
well-
long as you win so much.
Son
Yeah.
won the Asian Cup.
So,
Anyway.
yeah, Son's coming back. Will that help, as we said before, with Ericsson? A bit more energy and dynamism. Dynamism? Dynamoism? Dynamo Kiev? What are we on about here?
Dynamics.
Will that help? Will the dynamics of this room? will that help Ericsson? Probably, maybe. Is Ericsson turning? Could
Yeah.
be.
Could be because Ericsson's playing a deeper role.
That's what I'm
He's
saying
playing as
before.
a
With Son, I
deep
think he
line
plays a lot
playmaker.
better.
If he's got an extra player ahead of him there.
Yeah.
And Son making the runs. Trippier rotation. Obviously, Champions League group for Spurs. Got Inter and Barca.
That's the first two coming up, isn't it?
Yeah.
Banter away,
Interesting.
Barca at home. Yeah.
And then, but in the notes we got, but then they play Huddersfield and Cardiff in the league. Who does Poch prefer for his fullbacks?
This is
Who's he
it.
gonna- We've said this
Yeah.
from first episode. If you're going to pick a Tottenham fullback, you're better off having the two right backs or the two left backs
Who's
because they're going to
our,
want more play. Almost.
Our friend from the
Yeah.
other week was Noman Shahid.
Noman Shahid, yes. We had all three fullbacks.
Yes, just to be sure.
Because here is where we've got to double guess the managers now and think what are they going to prioritise, Champions League or League?
Yeah.
And I think, personally, I'm just speculating in Poch's case, in Spurs' case, he's going to prioritise Champions League, I think. So for the Inter and Barca game is where Trippier might end up playing,
Yep.
and maybe Davies. And then the easy fixture they've got against Huddersfield and
I would
Cardiff
assume that'd be Rose.
and Sergio Aurier.
Yeah.
Yeah, so please be careful because I know everyone's going to see those fixtures and think, bang, Trippier in. Yeah,
That's it, man.
might
That's
not
it.
play. Might
Is
not
this,
play.
see what happens with
is
it.
this where Spurs' small squad comes back to bite them?
Exactly.
Yeah,
And they
already.
Yeah.
But
they did that. I mean, 10 points out of possible 12.
Oh, yeah, no,
I was going to say though, they don't play with an intensity, do they? So
No.
they can maybe stretch their squad a little
They
longer. I
can,
think.
yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
See what happens with
I
it.
think he'll know. Poch.
Just really quickly, we'll give a couple more out, and then I'm just conscious.
We've got to finish. We've got a long film section we want to get in.
So,
Yes,
if we move on to
absolutely
them,
right.
Sadiq.
right. I'm going to rattle through these other players that are on our radar that we've been considering in that midfield slot that we've been talking about for the Pedro's 6.7 or round about that price. So Pereira, the winger for Watford, who somebody got in. Yes, Riz, you got in.
If I was to wildcard it, yeah.
6.3. Stats are showing he's deservedly up there. Stats are backing him up, his performances, and Watford look like they're going to sustain this push a little bit longer before they run out of steam.
I won't be surprised if they do us over at the weekend.
Yeah, absolutely. I was going to say they're going to be well enough for that, aren't they?
Yeah.
Richarlison, the obvious one. I'm looking at him. I'm going to contemplate whether I get him in for Pedro or not, but Richarlison should be on your radar to come back in. Lucas Moura, what are your thoughts on him?
He's doing well, but I'm not sold on him for that price.
For 7.3, because right next to him at 7.4, you got Ramsey, who, I mean, I know I'm not on Arsenal. I'm not.
I wouldn't
Arsenal.
even go. I'd say, I mean, I get the fact that Emre mentioned previously in his pre-season comments that he wanted to build a team around Ramsey. But I'm not sold with that.
That smells of contract talks.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And also the other fact that he hasn't featured much anyway.
Yeah.
And in all honesty, them two, yeah, fair enough. They might have the odd couple of good games, but they have more average games than they have good games. So in my opinion, I'd stay away from them.
Yeah, I think Lucas needs a bit of a longer run
Yeah.
of performing consistently.
Let's see what happens now. Yeah.
So no.
So basically what we're saying is our two picks for the midfield slots are alongside either Pedro, you have him or don't have him already, Pereira of Watford and Richarlison.
Yeah.
The three strongest picks.
And if you really want to drop down to your budgets and you get Neves in.
Seri maybe. Seri's another one.
Seri,
Seri's
5.4,
back.
5.2 depending on the coffers.
Yes. So Seri is actually better option than Nevers, I feel, but you need that.
Well, you know what? There's another one that we've not really mentioned. You're talking about Fulham very quickly. Andre
Schürrle,
and he has scored in his last 2 games.
the shots are there. The rest of the business ain't there. He's not working. He's not doing the work.
If it's been set up for him and he's scoring a couple, you know, he's picking up the points.
Because the whole of Fulham setup there starts to say they're getting the ball and they're shooting, no matter where they are on the pitch. So shots in the box is very, very low. Yeah.
But on average, you know, you take your chances, low average.
Yeah.
So one will go in.
But yeah, so very quickly, last one, Tariq, you just want to mention that, and then that's it.
Yes, City options. Kevin De Bruyne is on my radar. Very much looking at him. If I were to get rid of Mane, which I don't want to do, I'm keeping my 3 Liverpool players over these supposed tough fixtures. The tough fixtures where we turn it on.
Let's see.
Yeah. So if I were to, Kevin De Bruyne is the one I'm looking at. See how he is when he comes back, and he's already dropped down to 9.7. He'll probably end up being 9.5 before he starts looking.
He'll probably be back by October.
David Silva, in the meantime, is stepping in his shoes and doing the business at 8.5. Another good option. Edison, I've put cash cow down because if you have him in your team, I don't think you need him because City are facing the fewest shots. But then when they are facing shots, he's not doing a great job of making saves. Yeah. Similarly to De Gea at United, some silly stat like he's faced 14 shots, but of them he's conceded 7. He's only saved 7, which is obviously 50%.
He's reading the Vino, isn't he? He's good.
50%, which is
he's giving someone else a chance.
The lowest. So
give someone else a chance.
Get rid of Edison if you have him. Use your money, especially if you're wildcarding. Get someone else in. You need to know who. Send us a question and we can look into it. But yeah, you don't need Edison, and also he's going to miss this fixture at some point with his wife expecting very, very soon. That's it. Leicester we've covered. Yeah, we've done.
Yeah.
Let's quickly finish on plans for this week and captain picks. Riz, I'll let you start quick.
Mine's probably going to be Salah. Like I said, I'm just probably going to stick with him. I've got no real alternative.
Spurs away.
Possibly, yeah. I mean, for somewhere in the back of my mind, my gut's telling me that he's due something.
He's going to bang a hat trick in.
I'm hoping.
He is.
I'm hoping on his 4-3 to Spurs though.
Yeah.
Oh,
but having said that, I got Alisson in there.
Spoilt it there.
We'll see what happens. But
Yes.
yeah, no wildcard. Possibly Salah as captain, but I may well look at it.
Any transfers?
At this moment, no real changes are out there.
Yeah.
We start it.
Cool.
Probably Captain Aguero. Who's City playing the weekend?
Fulham at home.
I would, be definitely Captain Aguero then.
Their defence is,
Captain Aguero. Transfers, like I said before, Arnie's probably going.
So you're going to go through with your wild card, or you?
No, I'm probably just going to make 2 transfers.
Right.
Arnie out, Ings in, and then Daniels for Robertson with the money in the bank I've got.
Sweet.
As well, just to bolster the defence. I think that's all I'm going to do.
Yeah,
nice.
Cool, sounds good. Likewise with me, I'm going to bank my transfer like you, Riz. I don't see any reason. Well, I could get Holebas in straight away. Yeah, I could change McCarthy straight away. Those are straight swaps. Wilson, I can't remember. But anyway, point being is I want to wait and see. We come back from international break. I want to see what happens now, if things change, if things settle, if the same players carry on. If they do, in a week or 2, then that's when I'm going to make my changes. My captain pick, Salah, I could go because I absolutely believe he'll do something at Spurs. But I was actually considering Alonso.
Oh, okay.
Yes, I'm going to go a bit left field. Alonso against Cardiff, who hopefully not going to score. Only scored 2 goals in 4.
Yeah.
Conceded 9.
Yeah.
Yeah. So hopefully Alonso will get some double figures there.
Fair play.
And I'm going to try that. I'm going to gamble it because I think I
Do it,
can
man.
afford to at this point. I've got a bit of a lead.
Go for it.
And I've had 4 good weeks. So let's see what happens.
Let's see.
So Alonso captain. You heard it here. Yeah, that's who you should go. I have heard other people pushing Mendy as well.
Yeah.
Good shout. So that's about it. Anything else, guys?
No.
Nothing
Covered it all.
else. That's pretty much it. Like, share, subscribe. That Full-Time Banter 7. Give us your opinions, views, anything that you want us to discuss next time. But other than that, these are your tips. Take it, leave it. I would probably be wise enough to make some changes with these opinions. Go for it.
Be specific if you have any questions, because we can only give you a certain amount. We can't cover every single team and every single player in every position. If you've got something specific to ask, do so, like the viewers have in previous shows, and we can tackle and focus on that area. But otherwise, we've got a cracking film section coming up, so make sure you tune in for that. It is the top 5, your top 5 favourite martial arts / kung fu movies of all time. So that's about it from us. Goodbye, see you in part 2.
Thank you.